Sabas and Inov-8. Ginger Runner. What's up, everybody? Ethan Newberry here for another GingerRunner.com review. I am reviewing a brand of shoes I have not yet reviewed before. Very exciting. And I'm reviewing two pairs of Inov-8 shoes. You are currently watching the review of the Inov-8 Ultra Trail 290. Look at that one. Before I get on with this review, I am reviewing two Inov-8 shoes today. Yes, you are currently watching the review of the Ultra Trail 290, but if you're so inclined, I also reviewed the x-talon 212. So if you'd like to watch this review, just click anywhere on the screen right now. Just click. I'll give you a couple of seconds if you want to watch this review. 3, 2, 1. You stayed. For those of you who may not be familiar, Inov-8 has been around for a while, and they make shoes of all sorts: road, trail, off-trail, CrossFit. They make a ton of variations with a bunch of different fits, different offsets. With all Inov-8 shoes, there is an arrow system on the back of the heel here. 1 arrow means 3mm drop, 2 arrows means 6mm drop, 3 arrows means 9mm drop. However, this shoe has 2 arrows and it has an 8mm drop, so it's a little confusing in that sense. The numbers that come after the name of the shoe tend to be the weight in grams of the shoe. So this is the Ultra Trail 290. That means it's 290 grams, which is about 10 and a half, a little more than that in ounces. And now you know. Let's continue. I was actually really excited about this shoe because Inov-8 talks about it being the shoe that can go the long distances. Some of their shoes tend to be on the more minimal side. There's not a lot of midsole EVA, not a lot of comfort for those long distances, so this was their answer to that. The major question I'm going to try to answer in today's review: does it live up to the hype? Is it great for long distances? And does me like it? I have to say that I had some issues with this shoe. I was expecting one thing, I got another thing. I tried to learn to love this other thing, and unfortunately I'm on the fence with this shoe, and let me tell you why. Things that I like about the Ultra Trail 290. Protection. I have to say that this shoe has a ton of it. Not only are you dealing with a really rugged outsole with tons of lugs, and it's a complete outsole, but the upper is made of really durable material. It's fairly thick, really not gonna bust out of the seams of this thing. Tongue is really thick. It's just bomb-proof. It's a really heavy-duty shoe. Grip. As I mentioned, full outsole, tons of lugs. Look at all those lugs. And it gets great grip on all surfaces: wet, dry, rocks, wood, dirt, grass, gravel, road, faces of the people that you climb over. And speaking of outsole, durable outsole. This thing is just gonna last you a long time. I don't know what they're using in this rubber, but even putting 40 miles on the shoe has barely worn it down. While I spend most, if not all of my time with this shoe on trails, which will help reduce some of that wear and tear, I mean, you can barely tell that this rubber is even used at all. It's pretty incredible. Built-in gaiter attachment. I actually really like this. It's a real subtle detail. I don't normally wear gaiters. However, I know a lot of people who might want to wear this shoe will need to wear gaiters depending on where they're running, whether it's wet, whether it's sandy. But there's these wonderful little attachments just here on either side of the ankle that allow your gaiter to just hook on in, lock on down, and you don't have to worry about straps going underneath the shoe or Velcro or any of that stuff. It's great. Ah, man, but that is kind of it for things that I like about this shoe. Here are the things I dislike about the Ultra Trail 290. Dense EVA. The midsole material in this shoe is dense. Some will call it responsive. I'll call it deadening. It just kind of removes a lot of that sensation of bounce or comfort out of the shoe. This dense EVA is not my bag. Full outsole. As I mentioned, that is a benefit, but I also think it's a detriment. Without having any sort of grooves to help this shoe flex, the solid plated blown rubber on the outsole just contributes to a rough, non-compliant ride. You will notice it right off the bat. There is one groove called the Meta Flex groove here in the front, but it's barely there and it bends at the wrong point. Like, even if I flex the shoe, it flexes 2 inches behind where the MetaFlex groove is, so it doesn't even make sense. And then you're also dealing with a really flat outsole, especially around the heel. It just does not conform to the heel at all. It's flat, and you can feel it when you're descending hills. It just feels like you're flattening out on the ground, and it's not a really great sensation. Heavy. More than 10.5 ounces this shoe weighs. Talk like Yoda, I do. I was not expecting this shoe to weigh that much, and unfortunately, I think that is an inhibiting factor. And finally, hot, thick upper. Those words together make it sound completely sexual. That is not my intent. The upper of this shoe, as I mentioned earlier, while protective, is thick and hot. And unfortunately, that contributes to a poor fit on my foot and an uncomfortable ride overall. The tongue on this shoe is super thick. It's almost like a neoprene material, and that just traps in the heat. The rest of the upper is really thick synthetic materials, whether it's mesh on the front or this fake leather material over the toe. It's a bummer. So that's it for likes and dislikes. As I mentioned, I'm a little on the fence with this shoe. After putting 30+ miles in the shoe, it's definitely broken in a little bit and gotten a little bit more comfortable. However, it is not going to be my go-to shoe for those ultra long distances. It's just not. If they lightened it up, softened it up, flexed it up, things would be completely different. But I know people that have run 100 miles in this shoe and love it, so that's what's so weird. So I just gotta get on with the points with this thing. Quality, I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5. I don't think that the materials that they used were the smartest choice for a shoe that's supposed to go long distances and be on your foot for a long time. Comfort, also 3 out of 5. The EVA really isn't that soft or compliant, and I'm not able to utilize all the responsiveness of it with that outsole. Price, at $130, I gotta give it 3 out of 5. I think that's just a little too high of a price to pay for a shoe that I'm just not into. And finally, looks, also 3 out of 5. I'm not really into the looks of this shoe. I'm just not really into black shoes in general. I just don't like looking down and seeing big black boots. I'd rather see some splashes of color, be bright and be vibrant. Inov-8 has such great colors across their shoe line. I'm really surprised to see this shoe just come out as black, with maybe a couple little color highlights, but nothing noticeable. Weird. That brings our grand total to 12 out of 20. It's not a terrible score, it's not a great score, but as I mentioned, I do know people that have run long distances in this shoe and love it. So that is my question for you. Have you run in the Inov-8 Ultra Trail 290? Do you like it? Let me know. I'm really curious. Those who do like it, why? And do not forget that I have another review of an Inov-8 shoe that is also live today, and that is for the Inov-8 x-talon 212. The shoe's a lot different than the Ultra Trail in many respects. It's a talon. So if you'd like to watch this review, all you have to do is just click anywhere on the screen. You can go over there and watch this review and see what I think about the x-talon 212. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Thank you, Ultra Trail. So that is it for today's review. If you liked it, please like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel and share these videos. I want you guys to show other people that I'm doing this stuff. Do not forget I'm on all the social networks, over on Twitter at The Ginger Runner, on Facebook, facebook.com/TheGingerRunner, and of course on Instagram at Ethan Newberry, and GingerRunner.com is a really neat place to go to. Go check it out. And don't forget I'm doing live shows every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Live, where you can actually interact with me and my guests. It's all pretty crazy. The future is here. That's it. I hope you guys had fun. I did. We'll see you guys next time. Hope you're getting out there training hard, racing harder, and partying the hardest. I know I am. Train, race, beer. See you next time. Goodbye.